Hello, and thank you for joining us. I'm here with Ellen Rainville, and she's the director of the J.V. Fletcher Library. Hello, Ellen.
Hi, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. Thank you so much for coming in.
I'm thrilled to be here.
Now, so we're here to talk a little bit about an item on the town warrant.
Yes.
Annual town meeting this year is March 28th.
Correct.
And there is an item on the town warrant where the J.V. Fletcher Library would like to
Have $35,000 appropriated in order to continue a feasibility study, which is already partially grant funded.
and it's to take a look at the future of the J.V. Fletcher Library.
Right.
Okay, the beloved J.V. Fletcher. Why don't we start talking a little bit about the history of the Fletcher.
One of my favorite topics.
Wonderful. Mine too. One of my favorite.
Westford, of course, is originally a colonial town. We were West Chelmsford until we incorporated in 1729. And shortly after the Revolutionary War, Westford men got together and first founded Westford Academy. That was in 1792. And we can be very proud of the academy because one of the original trustees wanted his daughter to be educated. So it was coeducational from the beginning.
Was it private or public when it first
Well,
opened?
it was private because public schools weren't really mandated by the state until the early 20th century. So Westford Academy was private throughout the 19th century and then took over the public education of the town in, I think, around in the 1919s some point.
Okay.
So shortly after education was taken care of in town, the same group of gentlemen started a subscription library. That was in 1797. And for $1 or $2 a year, they would pool their resources, purchase books. They would stay in one of the subscribers' homes. And that was the state of our library. It was a shared subscription library until it was given to the town in 1859.
So the books would stay in a resident of Westford's home. Oh, wow.
And at times they would move the collection to various homes. We still have several hundred of these original library books at the library, beautiful old leather and calf-bound items from the 1700s and some even from the 1600s. And so by the later 1800s, when Town Hall was built, the library was housed in a single room in Town Hall. And by 1895, the town fathers had approached Jonathan Varnum Fletcher to give money to help build an actual library building on the Common. So Jonathan Varnum Fletcher, who was a native son, a banker at Faneuil Hall, also a resident of Belmont, gave $14,000 and the town matched it by $5,000. And the original 1896 building was dedicated, the core of the yellow brick building we have now.
Okay.
So there were some other improvements to the library over time. Actually, J.V. Fletcher's great-granddaughter renovated the basement in 1963 to be our first children's room. And then in 1969, a small addition was added with federal grant money.
And what would that be? What part of the library?
That was a children's room. Now that's part of our technical services and processing area.
Okay.
It was that addition as well that brought a second stack mezzanine level. That was in the original 1895 blueprints, which we also have, but it wasn't put into the building until 1969. And then 27 years plus ago, we added on the two wings to the library and went to about a 22,500 square foot building.
So these old books that you're talking about, the original books, so someone could go into the library and take a look at them?
You could ask for the historical librarian to give you a tour of that collection, absolutely.
And where is that?
That's up in our Mary Atwood Hall, which is part of the original 1896 building. And, it's a beautiful hall that now we use as a meeting room. It was used as a gallery and display case originally, but a lot of our original furnishings from 1895 still are located in that room.
Oh, I have to check that out.
And it's very handsome.
Oh, I bet, yeah. I can just imagine the smell and the... another thing that piqued my interest, so Mr. Fletcher.
Yes.
And that's who the library is
named
JV,
after.
what's his?
Jonathan Varnum.
Jonathan Varnum. He lived in Belmont. So what is he, originally from Westford and moved to Belmont when he was a banker
he
in
was
Boston?
born in Westford.
Okay.
And he maintained a summer farm off of Depot Street.
Okay.
And so, he was a summer resident, someone who always owned land, but who resided for most of his business year in Belmont.
No, Belmont is just a hop, skip, and a jump from the city, so that makes a lot of sense. So the last time the J.V. Fletcher Library has had any renovations done was 27 years ago.
Yes, so 1987, 1988 was when we were finishing that most recent edition.
So we're seeing some growing pains, is what I'm thinking. The library. We were talking some of the statistics. About 250,000 people visited the library
per year.
Yeah.
So we're open 314 days a year. So it's just under 800 people a day visit the library.
Really, per day?
Yes. Yes.
Oh, incredible.
And we circulate about 341,000 things a year, and that's all different formats. That's print books, that's downloadable books, that's downloadable magazines, streaming films, downloadable music that people can avail themselves of from our website. So we're definitely, moving toward quite a few of the new downloadable formats. They're not a huge percentage of our circulation yet. They will continue to grow. Some of the miniaturization that's happened with collections has actually been helpful with us as, we've considered, how to use our space most effectively. So when we opened the 1988 brand new library, we had thousands of LPs, and then we went,
right.
we went to CDs.
LPs,
yeah,
those are records.
Right. Now we have downloadable music.
Yes, exactly.
We went from VHS to DVD.
Yes.
And now we have downloadable indie flicks as well. So, the miniaturization of formats has helped us a lot.
Sure.
And the move toward getting downloadable and streaming media. But we're saying now our big push is we need to make room for the public in our public library. We have wonderful collections because the town has helped us purchase those collections. We've had a lot of support. Over 2007 to 2011 with Friends fundraising and town help, we did a lot of rebeautification of the library. But our problem now, especially in the children's room and especially in the teen area, is we just simply don't have the physical space we need. We're doing great with cyberspace, and we're not doing so good with physical space.
Well, we were having a conversation about this before the cameras were rolling, and I was reminiscing of my time when I was a little girl and how I would love to go to my local library and just spend time going through the books and the Beatrix Potter series and Winnie the Pooh and some of my really favorite classic books, and just losing myself in the library.
Right.
And children need to have that.
They need to have that. So some people's first response will be, well, hasn't the internet changed everything? The internet has changed so many things and has, improved library service for those of us who give service as well. It's wonderful, wonderful. Some things, such as, your first falling in love with Winnie the Pooh or Beatrix Potter, have not changed at all. And what that takes is, a wonderful, fun, playful children's area where you have room to explore, where you have room to discover, room to play and then go look at books, room to go to the train table and then go look at books, room to be at the Lego table and then go look at books. And, that's very necessary to have a playful and child-oriented area. Right now, our young area in the library is about the size of 2 10 by 13 rugs.
I know, it's
so,
small.
And we have, two tiny, it's like we furnished it for the teeny tiny woman. We have 2 tiny chairs because that's what fit, and one tiny love seat. We really need 3 times the children's space that we have. Our teen room is really one wide aisle of books.
Right.
It's about 120 feet square. It's really not what this town would expect for its teen and preteen population, and it's really not servicing our current population, much less, a future population.
Kids are still reading.
Kids are still reading, especially in Westford.
You mentioned that.
We have a very
we're
strong...
an educated town.
We're an educated town.
Yeah.
We're a young town. We're a family-oriented town, and a town with higher incomes and higher education degrees. So all of those are strongly associated with reading and library usage. And we have very strong summer reading programs for elementary, preschool and elementary ages, preteens and teens, and adults, actually. And, each summer we have 2,200 registrants, in the 3 of those programs, which is, makes us one of the highest summer reading program registrations in the state.
That's terrific.
Yeah,
it
we
makes
can
a
really
lot
be
of
proud
sense.
of that.
This town is something else. I mean, we really focus on education. So obviously, the library is a big part of that. So let's talk about the item then on the town warrant for the annual town meeting on March 28th.
Right. So we're looking toward the future, and we already have a $50,000 planning and design grant from the Massachusetts Board of Library Commissioners.
Okay.
We have $25,000 in hand to match that. And in our work with the Permanent Town Building Committee, it was felt that we needed another $35,000 to do the study correctly.
To do the study itself.
This is really a perfect time for us to be poised to take advantage of a future grant.
Okay.
So this is really about maximizing town funds and maximizing the town's opportunity to take advantage of state tax funded grants and reclaim some of that for our own here in Westford.
Let's grab it now while we can.
So for the first time, towns over 10,000 population were eligible for the planning and design grant, so we applied. For the first time in the future, the Board of Library Commissioners will give grants of up to 50% for building and expansion grants.
Terrific.
So even though we may be waiting, this is a process that could take 10 years.
Okay.
We want to be in line for that grant, and we want to have the conversation now. It's really important that we have it now so that if the town, wants to pursue any future 21st century library, that we can apply for this next grant in either 2016 or 2017. It's still a little uncertain exactly what the timing will be of that. And then, of course, we would be competing with other communities who love their library and other library projects, and the Board of Library Commissioners would have to get money raised by the state in order to pay for this. So, that takes time. We would be ranked. I need to be very clear, the town has been very supportive of us, and where we are inadequate, has nothing to do with really town support or our service vision, the imagination of our staff, or, our wonderful reading community. It just really is a matter of too little space within the bricks and mortar that we have. And we may not be in the pitiable condition of some other libraries that we would be competing against. But we think over time, we would be talking about and building, an addition or renovation, by 2020, 2021.
Okay.
So we're on a long lead time here because, these projects can take up to 10 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
So this is just the money then for the study itself.
For the study itself.
Should we have a new...
Could we add on? Should we choose some other place for a library?
Okay.
Can we fit our needs on our current site? What would the impact be? Can the site support it? Are there, other spots in town that we should be considering it? We know from the master plan that town services on the Common, it's a New England thing. We all know that. We all feel very strongly about the Common and very strongly about our historic presence. And we have a beautiful Common here in Westford. We're so fortunate that we don't have, a major route running through the middle of our town.
Absolutely.
I know some people might feel that at times we do, but, these are the questions that we want to answer, and then the town can have more conversation if the town likes the results of this feasibility study and wants to go forward.
So March 28th,
yes,
annual town meeting.
Abbott School.
And this will be on the town warrant.
As a capital request of $35,000.
I think it's something that people should really support, Ellen.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much for all that you guys do over there at the J.V. Fletcher Library, and let's continue its success and see it grow.
Thank you so much. We're thrilled to do it.
Okay, thanks for coming on to the show.
Okay.
And thank you so much for watching, and we'll talk to you again soon.